Hey, it's your boy, Chongo, coming at you with another video. This video is Bill Burr can't help but laugh when he watches the news. Brought to you by Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Alright, so everybody knows I've been on the Bill Burr kick. It is what it is. This dude is funny, can't get enough of him. I'm gonna go ahead and get this started. Let's go.
I want to talk to you about this project, this movie that you're working on, because it's something that you and I have talked about, because we are friends. We have dined together. We've hung out. Our wives have hung out.
Just pictures with big chalices and candelabras. Coated.
We did. I had a suit of armor brought in and put in the corner. You're talking about this movie that you've made is a subject that's near and dear to your heart. It's about being dads. Older dads, right?
Old dads, yeah.
Old dads.
There was something that came about by, not getting my shit together and having kids really late in life. Like I'm 54, my kids are 5 and 2. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize like how much the world had changed. Like my daughter's in kindergarten now, and I was in kindergarten 50 years ago. So just the whole way that they teach, like everything, literally, I'd be like, "Oh, you on the jungle gym?" And she'd be like, "It's called the structure." and then I'd be like, "Yeah," and then I'd be like, "Oh my God, I said jungle. Am I, was that borderline racist now? Like, what did I just say?" And you just start freaking out, and just sort of it lives sort of in that world, and then also all of this world now of where, you go back into somebody's Twitter account 8 years. And find a bad tweet, and they're like, "This is who this guy is. This guy's an asshole." And it's like, I always looked at it like, you had to go back 8 years before this guy was an asshole. That's an amazing, like, Lou Gehrig run of not being an asshole. If you went 7 years, like, this guy was totally cool, but in 2014, that one random Wednesday, he was really in a mood.
Yeah.
And it was just weird. Someone who, I lean left. I'm not 100% left. It's sort of like, I just thought that whole era was really fascinating to watch people, like, just trying to just sort of ruin people. Like, I understood the beginning of it when they were going after these monstrous people, but then it just became this like these ticky-tack misdemeanors bullshit, and they would just burn them down. It was like a Frankenstein movie. Like, they were all coming up the fucking hill. So it sort of, subtly lives in that world, too.
Right. And one of the things that I relate to you on is we both come from, like I say, a similar part of the country. I'm a little bit older than you, but I do relate very much. When you talk about being a dad, you often relate it to when you were contrasted with when we were kids. And that's something that hits home with me because, I had kids later in life. Now they're teenagers. But in the early stages, I remember thinking this does not resemble the childhood that I have in any way.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, the fact that so much care and attention is spent on each child was something that was... No, I'm not saying that. I love my parents, but it was a different attitude. There were 6 of us, and I remember very clearly at any given time, if you ask my mother or my father, where's Conan? They'd be like, I don't know. He's...
Yeah.
No one knew exactly where you were.
They just sent you outside. Like, that was a lot of it. They just sort of sent you outside, and you went out, and you just met other kids your age and came up with stuff to do when you were outside, and then eventually you ran into older kids, and then they just beat the shit out of you. And then
this is why.
And then you came up I did a cartoon for Netflix called F is for Family. One of the first episodes is this.
I need to watch that.
Where the young me and his friend are up in a tree, and these guys start throwing rocks at us and shooting fireworks. And that was based on a true story. There wasn't fireworks, but it was just me and a friend of mine were climbing trees. We're just climbing a tree because that's what you did before there was no internet. That was going online, climbing a tree and risking your life. So we climbed up this tree, and these bigger kids came by, and they saw us up there, and they just started throwing rocks at us until their arms got tired. We were up there, like crying, getting hit in the ankles and in the back. And then you just climb down the tree, and then those guys are assholes.
But I remember that, and I bring this up because the minute that my daughter could drive or my son could drive, my wife would check, and she could show me on the phone where they were. And I thought, that's just blows my mind. It doesn't.
J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah. It doesn't feel right to me that we are that accountable all the time. And sometimes I wonder if I'm just jealous of. There's like a care and attention.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? And I wonder, because when I watch your comedy, when I watched you at Red Rocks, and you're talking about, anytime you're talking about your child or your dad, how the house was tense or there was anger, people weren't dealing with things appropriately. I think, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was an era, and I think I sometimes, when I'm seeing my family and my wife's handling everything so beautifully, for some reason I become enraged.
No, I get
Why? Where was it? What do you mean? You're looking him in the eye and talking to them? What is this?
I totally get that. I remember one time being in like I forget, grocery store or something like that, and I saw this kid. He started crying about something, and his mother went over and started hugging him and comforting him. And I just felt this urge to go over and trip this little kid. And then another time, I remember the grocery store, because that's where a lot of moms have like the kids and stuff. And this kid was going like, "Yeah, Mom, can I have candy?" And she was just like, "No." And then he started crying, and it made me laugh. I was want to be like, "Yeah, get used to that, kid."
So you enjoy the unhappiness and pain of a child?
I thought I did, but I realized it had nothing to do with the kid. That was just me with all of my bullshit. I was jealous of the kid who was getting hugged, and then I was laughing at the other kid because I related. Like, I remember when a long time ago I saw Sling Blade when it was in the movie theater, and I remember when he zoomed that guy out of the house in the wheelchair. He's like, "Get out of my fucking house!" And he zoomed him out, and the guy was all helpless. I roared with laughter, and I remember I was with these actors that I was working on something, and they looked at me in this horrified way.
Right.
And I couldn't explain it. You had to be a comedian to understand. Like, I think actors and comedians, they process pain differently.
Right.
Where actors, I think, are more like examining it, where comedians, you just pave it over, and it's like, you're just laughing, not because you're happy that happened to someone in a wheelchair. You're just laughing at just how fucking mean it was. I told you about this. That one time my wife was on the plane with me, and we were going somewhere far, so she had like a tablet, and I started watching a movie, and she had fallen asleep, and I was watching a movie, and I was laughing so hard I woke her up. And then she, when you don't know what somebody's laughing at and you just start laughing, she's like, what are you laughing at? And I was trying to hide it. And she looked, and I was watching Precious. I don't even...
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
It was literally...
Oh, my God.
Some shit, it just gets so mean. It's just so mean. It pushes
you
through
over. Yeah.
into comedy again. The mother said something so fucking mean, and then they just cut to her face, and she was so sad. I'm not going to lie. I'm being honest. I was wheezing. I was literally like laying in the
Of course
So
you
I was
was.
laughing so hard, the woman I didn't know on the other side of my wife was laughing, and then my wife started punching me in the shoulder. I just gave her like the tablet. No, that's one of my favorite things.
It'd be great if you were a movie
my wife
critic.
has such
It really
a
would
big
be great.
heart. And we're always watching TV, and she's forever getting teared up, and I am laughing my ass off. Like, she used to watch The Biggest Loser, and these fat people would be crying about all the cookies and burgers they were eating. And they were crying like they lost a dog or something. And she would be crying with them, and I would just be laughing my ass off.
So
No, most of the world is starving. That's why. Like, I went to like India, and I saw this level of poverty that I just made me want to adopt every kid over here. And then you just come back to America, and there's these slovenly people. I just can't stop eating Oreos. And it was just so fucking hilarious. And
this won't air.
and then it's like,
Can't do this.
This won't come
and then
out.
what it is because my wife
No one will ever hear this.
my wife gets mad at me for laughing. It makes it like Oh, dude, I have worse ones than that. I got worse ones than
You
that.
might as well get it out now because
I can't
you're
say
safe.
this one to protect people. You guys aren't going to laugh at this one because you're told you're not supposed to.
No, that's not this crowd.
All right,
This is a
some dude beat the shit out of his girlfriend, right?
Well, you're off to a good start. I don't. You know how to get a crowd. You had them. You're like, yeah, I can top that.
How else are you supposed to watch the news? Am I really supposed to be going like, oh, for the whole time? Or you can laugh. I mean, it's a choice.
I have to
Like,
go.
how does it help me?
But how? Okay, I want to hear you pull this out.
So my wife was so sad about it that I had to make a joke because I wasn't mature enough to be sad with her.
Right.
So I was going like, what do you think she said? What do you think that last thing
for
she
God's
said, right?
sake.
Yeah, exactly. So she gets all mad, right? She got really mad.
Why did she marry you? She's lovely. I've met her. She's wonderful.
So then like a week later, my mother-in-law comes over, right? And the fucking story comes on the news. And after the story's over, she goes, I know I shouldn't say this. My wife goes, Mom, don't say it. And she just goes, I wonder what the last thing she said was. And I died laughing. My mother-in-law died laughing, and my wife stormed
Jumped out of the room.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, neither one of us beat her up. So, like, she can't hear us laugh. I'm not happy that happened.
Well,
I don't understand what the fucking news is. It's just like, hey, here's a bunch of shit you can't fix that happened that was horrible. Do you know at my gym, they literally play CNN, and it's just the whole state of California's on fire. School shootings and shit. It's like, I'm coming here to get away from this shit. I'm on a fucking elliptical, and I gotta watch people's houses burning down.
Right.
How long are you supposed to... You're trying to make this seem like 3 hours on the elliptical? So we should be showing, like, I don't know, Dumb and Dumber? I think this is going good, Colin.
I think it's going great.
Holy shit. Fucking this dude is on a whole nother level. Pretty much what he does, what sums up Bill Burr is like, it seems to me like he just gets a kick out of people's misery, right? Like this dude just, I don't know, man. I kind of agree with him. Like, I find shit that most people don't funny. Like, some shit will happen and I'll be like, oh my God. And I'll just, especially when people are falling. And it doesn't really matter who. It could be a black guy falling, a white guy falling, a fat guy falling, an old lady falling, a woman falling, kids falling. Oh my God. It's almost like they haven't figured life out yet, and they're just sitting there running around like little toddlers and shit, and they just bam, dude. I mean, fat people falling too. Fuck. So a Reddit has this. What is it? Hold my fries. That's a good one. Kids are fucking stupid. Subreddit, like, oh my God, that shit. A lot of that shit's fucking hilarious. I don't know, like, it's one thing when an accident happens, you're being ballsy, right? And you jumped and you fell, right? You miscalculated, whatever, right? But when you fall just because you're clumsy, like, holy shit, that shit's fucking hilarious. Like, what you just did wouldn't have happened to anybody else, but because you are you and you are clumsy, it's like the funniest shit, right? And I feel him when he says, I'm on the elliptical for an hour, and he says, you know, he's watching misery and school shootings and fucking everything's on fire in California. Like, that sucks, right? Like, I don't want to see that shit all the time. I guess that's a plus. That's one of the advantages to being a comedian, right? It's just they see the world differently, right? And I feel like I have a similar outlook, right? Like I try to find the funny on shit. Like I try to find things that I try to look at the bright side, right? My wife would be like, "Oh yeah, this and this and this happened and blah blah blah," and then I'll be like, "Well, at least the good thing is that this happened, right?" And she's like, "Really? That's what you heard through me telling you this whole story? That's how you look at it, right?" I don't know. You be you, but if you sit here and think the world is burning and the president this and the fucking vice president that and the blah blah blah, like why does that any of that matter? Like I can sit here and think I think this about abortion, I think that about abortion. But my wife has her tubes tied, so I don't have to worry about that shit. I have 3 boys, and I don't have to worry about my daughter getting knocked up. So it doesn't directly affect me, right? So why am I gonna sit here and fucking, I don't know, man. One way or another, I don't really care. Does it affect the world around me? Yeah, but like, why am I gonna lose sleep over it? I don't know, man. Just, if you take one thing out of this, is just fucking relax, right? Relax. Try to look at the bright side on things. You're stuck in bumper to bumper traffic and you're pissed off. Look around you, right? Maybe fucking look at the cars around you. Look at the person driving next to you. Look at the scenery. Try not to fucking lose your shit every moment. Especially if you're driving next to your boy Chango. Anyways, that's all I got. You guys take care. Peace out.